Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it.
There has been some updates in the Diddy $100 million default judgment that we reported on earlier this week.
Sean Diddy Combs is no stranger to headlines, but his latest legal battle might be his biggest yet. For months, rumors and accusations have surrounded him, but the latest development has taken everyone by surprise. Sources say that Diddy's legal team just made a bold move that could completely shift the case in his favor. And here's the twist: he might not be fighting alone. Behind closed doors, Diddy is rumored to be negotiating deals that could involve naming other big celebrities in exchange for a lighter sentence. If true, this could have a huge impact across Hollywood with far-reaching consequences for some of its most famous faces.
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
Since his arrest in September 2024, Diddy's legal team has been working tirelessly to get him out of jail, facing serious charges including racketeering and trafficking, with a possible life sentence. If convicted, they've been relentless, filing motion after motion for bail. So far, every attempt has been denied. But now, insiders say Diddy's team has a new strategy that could change everything. His latest bail request includes an astonishing offer of $50 million in cash. But the real twist? Rumor has it this new deal may involve Diddy cooperating with federal authorities. Word on the street is that he might be sharing information about other high-profile figures in exchange for his freedom. While his lawyers have firmly denied any such arrangement, the mere possibility is causing a stir throughout Hollywood.
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
So who might Diddy be targeting? That's the big question. Over the years, Diddy has moved within circles filled with top-tier celebrities, from influential music moguls to A-list actors. His network is a who's who of the entertainment world, and if the rumors are true, some of these powerful figures might soon find themselves in the spotlight. Industry insiders are already speculating about who Diddy might be willing to name to secure his own freedom. One name circulating is none other than Jay-Z, Diddy's longtime friend and collaborator. The two have a long history together, from joint projects to attending exclusive Hollywood events. But some sources are hinting that Diddy's reported cooperation with federal authorities could involve revealing details about past events they both attended. While there's no hard evidence tying Jay-Z to any wrongdoing, the mere mention of his name alongside Diddy's legal issues has already set the rumor mill into overdrive.
Jay-Z got his by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your whooped.
Jay-Z isn't the only high-profile name being tossed around. Leonardo DiCaprio, the Oscar-winning actor known for his star-studded parties and connections to Hollywood's elite, is also being whispered about in relation to Diddy's case. DiCaprio has been a frequent guest at Diddy's infamous gatherings, and some are now speculating that his presence at certain events might be called into question. Though there's no evidence suggesting DiCaprio has been involved in anything illegal, with Diddy reportedly ready to name names, anything could happen. And then there's Usher. The R&B superstar, mentored by Diddy early in his career, has remained close to him ever since. Rumor has it that Usher may have been present at some of the events now under scrutiny in Diddy's case. While no accusations have been directed at Usher, the mere fact that his name is coming up in connection with Diddy's legal troubles is enough to stir some curiosity and concern.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Of course, none of this is confirmed, and Diddy's legal team has been quick to label the talk of a deal as pure speculation. But Diddy's situation grows more urgent by the day, and with his trial coming up in May 2025, he may be feeling the pressure to make a move before it's too late. If the prosecution's case is as solid as they claim, Diddy could be facing life behind bars of fate. That would be a drastic change for someone who has spent decades in the lap of luxury. But if Diddy does cooperate, what would that mean for his reputation? As a figure long seen as a powerhouse in the music industry, turning informant could deal a huge blow to his legacy. Diddy has always prided himself on being a self-made mogul, building an empire through grit and determination. Yet, if he's willing to sacrifice his relationships to save himself, that carefully built image could crumble. It's a high-stakes game Diddy is playing, and the fallout could be significant.
Well, one of the things that's going to happen, and I do believe that there has been a grand jury investigation that has been employed in this case. I think there may be a federal investigation going on, and there may be a stateside one, but I'm not totally sure. But one of the things that the prosecution in any case is going to try to do is show that there is a pattern of behavior here.
For now, all of this remains speculation. Diddy's legal team firmly denies any cooperation with authorities and insists that the government's case is weaker than it appears. They've even accused the prosecution of misleading the court, arguing that Diddy is being unfairly portrayed as the head of a vast criminal network when, according to them, the evidence is minimal at best. Diddy's attorneys claim the prosecution is relying on sensationalized stories from disgruntled former associates and unverified statements from people who may be seeking financial gain. A central piece of evidence in the case is a 2016 video that allegedly shows Diddy in inappropriate behavior with his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura during one of his infamous parties. However, Diddy's legal team argues that this clip is being taken out of context, asserting that it shows nothing illegal or non-consensual. They believe the video is being used to damage Diddy's reputation in the public eye. In fact, his lawyers argued that the entire case is built on a web of exaggerations and unreliable claims.
These are all allegations that have become shockingly familiar against Diddy in recent months as he has faced lawsuit after lawsuit from women and men who have accused him of all manner of bad behavior.
Meanwhile, the government remains confident that they have the evidence needed to convict Diddy on several charges. Prosecutors have painted him as someone who used his wealth and influence to manipulate those around him, building a network of enablers to help carry out his alleged activities. According to the prosecution, Diddy's infamous parties weren't just harmless fun, but part of a more troubling operation involving coercion and manipulation on a large scale. While Diddy's legal team has tried to downplay these events, the case against him seems to be gaining momentum. A major question now is what happens if Diddy is granted bail. His legal team has proposed a thorough package, including round-the-clock monitoring and strict movement restrictions, along with a $50 million cash bond to ensure he won't flee or interfere with the case.
I think his attorneys raised some good arguments.
I think they raise good arguments as well. Maybe this will be third time's the charm, because the difference between this bail motion and the prior two is that this one really does get to the heart of what the court was concerned about, which was witness intimidation.
However, the prosecution isn't convinced. They argue that Diddy poses a high flight risk and, due to his alleged history of witness intimidation, could be a threat to the community. In their view, releasing Diddy on bail could seriously undermine the entire case. Despite the defense's arguments, the government remains confident in their case against Diddy, painting him as a man who wielded his wealth and influence to manipulate and exploit others, allegedly supported by a network of enablers. Prosecutors claim that Diddy's notorious parties were far from innocent. They were part of a broader, more sinister operation involving large-scale coercion and manipulation. Then there's the question of whether Diddy might be cooperating with federal authorities. If he is, could that shift the case in his favor? It's hard to say, but one thing is clear: this legal battle is far from over. With months still remaining before his trial, there's ample time for more twists, new names, and shocking revelations to emerge. If Diddy is indeed making deals behind closed doors, Hollywood could be facing a major shakeup. The ripple effects of this case could reverberate through the industry for years, keeping everyone on edge about who might be next in the spotlight.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for.
As the countdown begins to Diddy's next court appearance, all eyes are on him and his legal team. Will they manage to persuade the judge to release him on bail, or will Diddy remain in custody until his day in court? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what other secrets might he reveal if he's cooperating with federal authorities? With whispers of potential bombshells involving some of Hollywood's most famous faces, the anticipation is mounting. This saga has been unfolding for months, but it's becoming clear that Diddy's legal troubles are part of a much larger story. These issues didn't arise overnight, they've been simmering for years. To some close to him, this storm may have been inevitable, but for many, it's shocking to see Diddy's empire now hanging in the balance. The charges are serious, and this is shaping up to be one of the biggest legal battles in recent memory. How did Diddy reach this point, and does he have a real chance of beating these charges? As details continue to emerge, only time will tell, but one thing's certain, this story is far from over.
Diddy is now being sued in addition to what we just talked about by Dawn Richards. You guys will remember her. She was a part of Making the Band,
Dirty Money,
the Danity Kane era. So basically what she is alleging, she's alleging a lot of different.
The drama surrounding Diddy began in November 2023 when his ex, Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. Cassie, who had been in an on and off relationship with Diddy for over a decade, accused him of years of abuse and manipulation. In the lawsuit, she painted a disturbing picture of their time together, claiming Diddy not only controlled her life, but also coerced her into situations that were far beyond what anyone could imagine. The accusations were a bombshell, and the public quickly began questioning whether there was more to Diddy's image as a successful businessman and music mogul than people had realized. What made this even more shocking was that just 24 hours after Cassie filed the lawsuit, it was settled. The details of the settlement remain unclear, but it was evident that Diddy was willing to pay a large sum to make the issue disappear quickly. To many, this quick settlement only added fuel to the fire of suspicion. Why settle so fast if there was nothing to hide? Rumors also began circulating that Diddy had allegedly offered Cassie an 8-figure sum before the lawsuit went public to keep her quiet. Whether or not that's true, the lawsuit opened a Pandora's box, and from that moment on, Diddy's life would never be the same.
Diddy has been under criminal investigation for months by federal prosecutors here in New York, and if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been describing.
The Cassie lawsuit may have been the spark, but it wasn't the end of Diddy's legal troubles. Just days before the deadline for New York's Adult Survivors Act expired, 2 more lawsuits were filed against him. One came from an anonymous individual, while the other was from Joey Dickerson-Neal, who accused Diddy of assaulting her in the early 1990s. For context, the Adult Survivors Act allowed victims of certain types of abuse to file civil lawsuits, no matter how much time had passed since the alleged incident. As the deadline loomed, it seemed that more people were stepping forward, ready to bring Diddy down. The anonymous lawsuit included disturbing claims that Diddy had engaged in behavior far worse than what had already been revealed. Meanwhile, Dickerson-Neal's lawsuit was even more shocking. She accused Diddy of drugging her without her knowledge in 1991, leading to an assault that was filmed and shared within the music industry. She described how this event had haunted her for years and how, with the growing number of lawsuits against Diddy, she felt it was time to speak out. If her accusations are true, they raise serious questions about Diddy's behavior decades before he became one of the most powerful figures in music.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs drugged and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court.
As more lawsuits piled up, Diddy was forced to make some difficult decisions in late November 2023. He stepped down as chairman of Revolt TV, the media network he had founded in 2013. Revolt had been a key part of Diddy's business empire, so his departure was a clear sign that the growing allegations were starting to have serious, real-world consequences. The company issued a statement distancing itself from Diddy, emphasizing that while he hadn't been involved in the day-to-day operations, his resignation was necessary to protect the network's mission and values. For Diddy, who had spent years building his brand as a mogul and entrepreneur, this was a major blow, and the troubles didn't stop there. By December, even more lawsuits were filed, including one from Jane Doe, who claimed that Diddy and 2 other individuals had assaulted her when she was just 17. This was the 4th lawsuit filed against him in less than a month, pushing Diddy to break his silence. In a social media statement, he strongly denied the allegations, calling them sickening and accusing the accusers of seeking a quick payday. He made it clear that he intended to fight back and prove his innocence, but by then, the damage to his reputation was already done.
Pretty interesting because I think, we have seen many photos, videos of Sean Combs, aka Diddy, through the Associated Press, through Instagram. And so to see him kind of in person after being in jail for 3 weeks now was pretty interesting, to say the least. And I say that by being that you would expect him to feel a little defeated, a little gaunt, anything like that. But it wasn't that case. He appeared confident.
As if the lawsuits weren't enough, Diddy's business empire began to take a hit in December 2023. 18 brands severed ties with his e-commerce company, Empower Global, citing the ongoing allegations as the main reason for their decision. Empower had been one of Diddy's initiatives aimed at supporting Black entrepreneurs, But with the growing controversy, it seemed no one wanted to be linked to him anymore. Some of the brands that pulled out issued statements expressing their disappointment, acknowledging Diddy's past leadership but stating that the allegations against him were too serious to overlook. Then in March 2024 came the raid. Federal agents from the Department of Homeland Security executed search warrants at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami as part of an investigation into allegations of trafficking and other serious crimes. The raids made it clear that the authorities were taking the case seriously. Sources revealed that a range of materials, including electronic devices and other potential evidence, were seized to help build a case against him.
To be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
Although Diddy wasn't at home during the raids, his legal team quickly responded, accusing the authorities of using excessive force and turning the investigation into a witch hunt. It wasn't just Diddy's homes that were targeted during the investigation. Around the same time, a man named Brendan Paul was arrested at Miami's Opelika Airport. Paul, who was believed to be connected to Diddy's inner circle, was booked on charges related to possession of certain substances. While it's unclear if his arrest was directly tied to Diddy's case, the timing definitely raised suspicions. Paul's arrest added another layer of mystery to an already complex situation, prompting some to question just how deep this case really goes. As the investigation dragged on, Diddy's legal team fought fiercely to get him released on bail. They made multiple requests, each time offering more money and stricter conditions, but the judges weren't convinced. Diddy was denied bail not once, not twice, but 3 times, with the court citing concerns that he was a flight risk and that he could intimidate witnesses if released. In response, Diddy's legal team accused the government of exaggerating the evidence against him, arguing that the case was weak and that prosecutors were using the media to paint Diddy as guilty before he had a chance to defend himself in court. Despite the setbacks, Diddy's legal team wasn't ready to give up. In May 2024, they filed another motion for bail, this time offering $50 million in cash and proposing 24-hour surveillance to ensure he wouldn't flee the country. They also pointed to 2 other high-profile cases where defendants accused of similar crimes had been granted bail, arguing that Diddy should be treated the same way. However, the prosecution pushed back, arguing that Diddy was too dangerous to be released and that the evidence against him was stronger than his defense team was suggesting. As Diddy remained behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, even more shocking revelations began to surface in May 2024. A video from 2016 was leaked to the media showing Diddy in an altercation with Cassie at a hotel. The footage, obtained by CNN, appeared to show Diddy shoving Cassie to the ground, kicking her, and then dragging her down the hallway. It was a disturbing glimpse into their relationship. Diddy's legal team attempted to downplay the significance of the video, but it was hard to ignore. Cassie's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, released a statement calling the video gut-wrenching and praising Cassie for her courage in coming forward.
And if he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid.
The release of the video only intensified the public scrutiny surrounding Diddy. In May 2024, things took an even darker turn as a former model named Crystal McKenna filed a lawsuit accusing Diddy of assaulting her in a New York City recording studio back in 2003. McKenna claimed that she had been given a drink that she later suspected was spiked, and after the incident, she woke up disoriented in a taxi. Her lawsuit not only named Diddy, but also his record label Bad Boy Records and his clothing brand, Sean John, accusing them of enabling his behavior by continuing to support him despite knowledge of his alleged misconduct. As more lawsuits piled up, Diddy's once untouchable reputation began to crumble. The scandal even started to affect his family. In October 2024, Diddy's 6 children released a joint statement on social media expressing their support for their father. They called the allegations against him false and insisted that Diddy was innocent, promising that the truth would come out in court. However, by then, the damage was already done. Diddy's empire, once a symbol of success and power, was beginning to look like it was built on a much shakier foundation than anyone had realized.
Basically what that means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st, right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to pay the plaintiff.